So we here to get into Real Housewives of Potomac. If we have over 100 people in the chat, I would love to have 100 likes on the video. So please go ahead and do just that for me. I'm gonna try and take my time, okay, with this review. So we kind of start this episode off with Giselle and Wendy. Right. So they're going to the Mercedes dealership and Giselle is ready to upgrade her car. I'm not mad at it. Miss Ma'am said, I won't be upgrading any fashions. I won't be updating my hair. Understand? Okay. Period. But what I will upgrade is this car. I will spend all this hundreds of $1,000s on a car, but I will not, okay, not on a boat or with the goat Sam I am. I will not upgrade my fashions and I will not upgrade my hair because that's just too cheap. You know what I'm saying? I'm Giselle who spends too much damn money for a tear down. What the I look like? Okay. I overspend money on things that's a piece of a necessity. My fashions aren't really a necessity. How my hair look, girl, it's not that much of a necessity. When you look like this, it's not much of a necessity. So why would I like, you know what I'm saying? Like the face gonna eat down and anything I put on is gonna give because of how I look. Right? So I'm gonna spend my extra hundreds of thousands of dollars on fixing up my house. Okay, and give me a G-Wagon. Period. You know what? I'm going to say this. I'm not mad at Giselle for going to get this G-Wagon. I feel like after you've raised these three beautiful daughters, and whether you're paying for college or whatever, you help get them to that place. You deserve a treat. I know we don't like her at times. She gets on your nerves, but I'm here for mamas getting their treats, girl. And if you want you a G-Wagon, go get you a G-Wagon. Okay, so I'm not even mad at that. I've always wanted a G-Wagon. So I'm like, girl, get that. I don't like the price. I feel like a G-Wagon, and y'all people that are more into cars and know more about cars than me, please let me know. But I kind of feel like I think a G-Wagon may be worth at least $100,000 more than some of the cars that's on the market that they charging like 3 times the amount for. Like if you gonna get it, get a big one. However, I recommend a lease. I mean, maybe it's cool to own at least one luxury vehicle, but I feel like lease a luxury vehicle and maybe own you a Honda. I feel like Honda's got more life in them than a lot of these cars out here. In my personal, maybe a Ford, but I think Hondas are like the best cars. And I really just say that because them be the ones I see on the road, like the old ones. These folks still be getting around in them things. So clearly it's a lot of life left in them. You understand? Okay, so over time, Honda has definitely upgraded and everything. I think they may have some electric cars too. Not sure, but they've done a better job. However, I do think like a Mercedes, maybe like a G-Wagon, may be more worth it with the 100K versus some of these other cars. However, they always get us on the name and stuff and the symbols. That's what we really be paying for. But aside from that, I would lease that. I would not buy that. I would lease that, especially if I'm a person that knows that I'm going to want to be in a new vehicle in 3 years, potentially. Right? That's what I say. And I think people used to try and crack jokes about leasing and all of that, and it's bad. And nah, bitch, I think we got gooped on the fact that you pay down 5, 3. Well, really, girl, I'm going to say, I don't know. I'm going to say like 4, 5, 6, 7 years on one fucking car. Be very clear about that. Now, when you get a lease, you probably gonna have to pay a little bit more on the front end, but at least you can get at. And I tell you one thing, you shouldn't have is no under hood issues. Aside from getting the regular maintenance that you're supposed to get on the vehicle, you ain't got to worry about your engine light coming on and all this extra shit. They having to spend out more money. Girl, get your lease and hop in. But that's just the girl. Listen, I'm not an expert. Okay, I don't know y'all pockets. Do not listen to me. But on the outside looking in my personal, I would lease a luxury vehicle versus buy one. Because also I think about when you trade in one of those buy cars. Let's say you bought a car and in 3 years you want to trade it in, but you still got, let's say, maybe 20,000 left on the car you owe. When you buy that new car, they gonna do that, but roll that 20,000 over, right? So you over here buying another car for 25,000, thinking you owe it, and that's about a $45,000 car. What? Huh? Who said that? Okay, if that's the case, I can't better leasing a damn $45,000 car and giving it back. As long as I don't go over my mileage. Now, that's where I feel like be realistic about your miles. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you live like an hour out or something, because that may not be feasible for everybody, right? If you live like or like in Atlanta, you can live 20 minutes away from your job and it could take you an hour and change to get to work. Okay. I'm just like, if you got to hop on the interstate or something, it could really take that long. So think about that because your miles are going to get ate up. But if you're a person that may work from home or something, that might be best for you because you're going to be like limited on, you ain't going to be burning up your miles every day going in and out of work. But girl, I'm just rambling, child. Anywho, that's what I say. And you know what? I'm so glad you said that, Scotty G, because I saw this other chick on TikTok and she had just got her like a BMW and she had went to I think it was a 7-Eleven to get gas in her car. Girl, she didn't even know what kind of gas to get. She had to look on there and she said, okay, I think it's this one. And I'm like, oh, girl, you need to be sure. You should have asked them questions before you left that lot. Don't put the wrong thing in there. But she went to a 7-Eleven and I was like, is that gas good? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that gas good? Like, do the people get certain gas from certain places? Like, I don't know. Y'all probably seen some Bentleys and stuff pull up to a Quick Trip or Raceway or something like that. I don't know. But I'm like, do y'all have special places y'all go y'all go get gas from? You know what I'm saying? I know for me, like I don't get gas anymore since I've gotten, well, actually since before I got this car. I don't get gas at the other places anymore, like Shell gas station, Quick Trip, Raceway. I don't get gas from them no more. It don't mean I won't at some point, but I just try to go to a certain place and keep the consistency with that one location. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like everybody gas ain't good. Am I tripping? Especially when I had heard about some gas stations be putting water or something like that. I've heard about people's cars getting messed up. So I don't know. But I just feel like do your research, try. I feel like why they over here selling these expensive cars, they need to own a damn gas station. But hell, they probably gonna charge off for that too. Because remember, I don't know if y'all heard, they're gonna be trying to charge people a monthly fee to use, I guess, like the radio or use your Apple device in your car or some weirdo shit. Like now we've gotten on this subscription model where they finna try and bill everything up, and it's like, nigga, it's the car. The car already costs too damn much. Like, why are you trying to charge me a subscription for extra for stuff that should just come with the car? You know what I'm saying? Just to plug my, is it AirPlay? I think it's AirPlay. Just to plug my AirPlay up. That's crazy. But that's just what I've been hearing out there in these streets. Okay. But let's keep going. Getting back to the show. Thank y'all for letting me get up and do a little piece of rant, honey. Okay. So Giselle asks Wendy, well, first of all, Wendy meets up with Giselle and she lets her know, like, girl, I'm trying to get me a G-Wagon too. You know, but I want to give you a heads up because I'm not trying to pull no Stacey on you. Okay. That's what she says. And you know what? I can appreciate Wendy letting Giselle know because to me, although some of us, I don't know how y'all feel, but some of us may feel like, oh, you ain't have to let her know that. Da, 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 da. It's like we talking about Giselle. We talking about Giselle who will make something out of nothing. So go ahead and put that on camera. And for the record, I had already been thinking about this too, but I'm going to let you know here so that you don't think that I'm trying to copy you on some Stacey type energy. Okay, let's be very clear. And also, if Wendy would have got a G-Wagon as well, I wouldn't think to me that she's copying off of Giselle because I feel like that is a common thing that a lot of entrepreneurs as well as reality individuals, okay, celebrities do. They go and get them a G-Wagon, right? That's just what they do. So I wouldn't have thought anything about it one way. If anything, I could see Wendy in a G-Wagon actually before I could see Giselle, even though we saw Giselle driving one. And does she already have one? I'm not sure. It just, and it's no disrespect to Giselle, but I do just mean this in all honesty. When I look at Giselle, I do not see that type of luxury in my personal. When I see Wendy, I do see not so much as luxury, but keep up with. Does that make sense? So I could see her going for a G-Wagon before I actually see Giselle going for one. But do your thing, whatever y'all want to do. So Giselle asks Wendy, how does she feel about Stacey? And Wendy says, well, sometimes I think that people don't know how to tell you that they like what you're doing, so they mimic it. True. And sometimes people will tell you they like what you're doing and still mimic it, right? So Wendy says that she also that Stacey reached out to her stylist to style her. We had a similar incident like that on Real Housewives of Atlanta, but it was a little different because Kelly allowed Britt to use the stylist because she was gifting that to Britt. And then I guess Britt took that as an assumption, like, oh, she must be okay with it. So let me go and book their services. And it seemed like Kelly did not like that. And I understood Kelly not liking it for a little bit because I don't want a person that I'm working with when I need them to be there for me, they can't because they're there for you. That could be a piece of a problem. But the fact that Wendy is not tripping off of Stacey likely using her stylist, she just calling attention to it. It does make me think now, like, Kelly, you was really, and I probably said it at that time, not sure, that you was overhyping that situation. Okay, because the stylists will figure out a way to make it work because they made it work on the trip when they styled you and styled her. So I don't know, but that's that. Now, as far as Stacey, Stacey needs somebody. I'm not gonna hold you. She could try and find somebody. She was working with Vivian. Vivian was putting her in attire that other folks had on, therefore making her look like a copycat or whatnot. So she got to find somebody else, okay? Maybe she could have gave Wendy a heads up and said, hey, like, I want to work with your stylist. Or it could have been a situation, being that Potomac seems big, but not that damn big, right? It could have been a situation where somebody else recommended that same person to Stacey for her to use. And she was like, okay, I'll go with it. Oh, you style Wendy. Like, oh, okay, cool. Right? And just go with the flow. There's that. So she says that when she sees something that she likes, meaning Stacey, she thinks that Stacey just copies it. Right? Wendy says that she doesn't think that she's a bad person, though. She thinks that she's sweet, but the ladies have been just jumping on her back. And you know what, Wendy? I can, for me, appreciate how you're taking this. I appreciate you not making this a big deal about the stuff that Stacey is doing. I feel like if it was Karen, she gonna be on somebody's head top saying they copying. If it's Ashley, that's what Ashley, everybody's gonna make it a big deal. And I could appreciate Wendy for not making it a big deal because, in all honesty, when I think about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Rachel Zoe has styled a lot of people in the entertainment industry that are, a lot of them are actors. So why can't the same stylist style multiple people on one show? Right? So, I mean, I feel like that kind of debunks the theory of me thinking that, well, shoot, if I need them for me, how they going to be there for me if they there for you? And I guess that's something they just got to work through, or it depends on who first come, first serve on bookings, I guess. Right? So I do appreciate how Wendy is handling that situation, because if she would have handled it differently, I don't know. We'll see as the season progresses. We'll just see how things progress. So far, so good. So Giselle feels like, well, when people are jumping on Stacey, it's valid, and Stacey be making her own bed, and she got a lie in it. And Giselle calls Stacey a big fat liar. This is what Giselle says. Stacey is a big fat liar. She says she doesn't understand women that move like that because you're sneaky. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't dispute that Stacey is a liar, and we're gonna get into some things later, right? I think Stacey may lie about things that it ain't even that deep. But we're gonna talk about all of that as we get more into the episode. But I want to talk about you for a little bit, Giselle. Because when you say that, okay, of course, a person telling a lie is gonna, of course you're gonna think they sneaky. But then what do we make of you when you put a blatant lie out there about Chris Bassett and continue to perpetuate other lies by somebody else? What will we think of you? Because I think at that point, that's beyond sneaky, as your story continued to change throughout the season. That's not cool. Okay? Now, they later discuss Monique once they get in the car, and they talk about Monique and her returning to the group, and Giselle says that she doesn't know how to feel about Monique being back. She says that in this group, they are accountable, and she wants to clear the air with Mo at the end of the day. So they will have a talk at some point. So Stacey and AJ, this is the best friend she meets with, right? So the Shire brand, or the Shire brand, is launching on Juneteenth. Stacey, baby, the fact that you are leaning so into the Nigerian culture and you care and love it so much, why didn't you pick a more significant date, I guess, to the Nigerians to possibly do your launch on? I don't know. It's something about that. But you decided to do Juneteenth. So I'm not gonna hold you. It's something about that just a little awkward for me, love. It's just some I don't know, and hopefully it comes to me later, but it's a little off. It's a little off. And then I have to go back, Stacey, to when you were like, oh, I was able to move some things around when it came to what's her name? Jassie's wedding. It gives a little bit of, like I said, a few episodes back, you're not beating the allegations of what Giselle said. You're not really beating the allegations of, oh, she only went to Kay's event because of yada, yada, yada. Like, girl, you knew that your stuff was not finna launch and you were in control of the lunch. But it's certain things I want y'all to, it's certain things that Stacey is saying that makes me question just how much ownership does she have in this company. Am I the only one that thought about that? I just have questions. Do you eat the box off the top? I just have questions. How much of this brand do you own? How much partnership do you have? Or is it somebody else's and you I don't know. I don't know. Cause she did name it. She named it Shayor. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. But and keep this in mind, guys. I do like Stacey, right? But if it's not making sense a bit, I just have to call that out. I'm not going to be able to continue. I'm not going to be able to just ride like I don't see some stuff. So we just going to have to call a thing, okay? And it can be just like Wendy. Wendy called a thing. She admits that this lady copies her and she still thinks that she's a sweet person, whatever the case is. And I feel like we can do that. We can highlight certain things and still kind of give some grace to, like, I still like her though. You know what I'm saying? Like what she's done is a bit harmless until it becomes harmless. Then of course our tunes are gonna change at that point. But you know, it's a tad bit harmless. So it's like, okay, it's cool, but I'm noticing things, right? And I also want to highlight this too. Let me highlight this as we talk about Stacey. I want to get this out of the way. You know, I feel like, and I mentioned this over on Patreon. Shout out to my patrons. That I feel like with Stacey, these ladies really aren't doing, in my opinion, just a little bit, okay? And y'all can dispute that in the comments, okay? You can educate me a little piece down there because you know I may be forgetting some stuff. But in my head, how I'm looking at it is they really are doing to her what they've done to a lot of other people that they felt like they were lying, right? And kind of stand on their head, similar to what they did with Karen. When Karen would be up there kind of lying and stuff like that, they'll keep bringing certain stuff up. When Karen wanted to avoid conversation about rate taxes and all this and that, like they still brought it up. So Stacey is not exempt from that. So it's going to happen. I love how she backs them up off her though. I will say that. And keep backing them, okay? Like Karen did. Karen have to back them up off of her. Oh, we finna get into so much. I hope this review ain't too long. We got a lot to get into. Okay. So let me keep going. So, boom, Stacey, she has the Shayor brand. It's launching on Juneteenth. She says she sent the group invite out to everybody. She says that Ashley. Now, I don't know the reasoning as to why Monique did not attend, or did she not send the invite out to Monique? Y'all let me know. I can't remember. Did she send that invite to Monique and Monique said, oh, I can't make it because of this? Because I don't think she sent the invite to Monique. Let me know. It's, you know, I'm not sure. So she says that she tells AJ that Ashley has Monique thinking that she had been dating Chris, right? And that she's been telling him about Mo trashing him. And so AJ is like confused because he's like, what the heck? He's like, oh yeah. He said, see, y'all old. Y'all, this is too old for this. Y'all need to stop. I'm with AJ. Okay? Y'all know y'all too much. He says that she needs to speak up for herself and put her foot down. But see, that's the thing, AJ. She has been. They just still gonna be coming for her. And she gonna have to keep putting them in their place every time. Okay? And that's that. Okay? So that's what's going on with Stacey. She about to get ready for this event. Tia and Stacey the next morning, at some point, Tia gives Stacey a call. I don't really care about the fluff of what all she had going on in the office. Cool. She called Stacey. Tia says that she didn't like how things happened at Giselle's party, and Stacey says her response to her was a bit surprising, and she doesn't know what's going on with them, and she wants to pretty much fix it. And Tia says that she hasn't written her off yet. She tells her that she is upset with her, and they both look forward to cleaning up any of the issues that they have. Right? There's that. All right. Now, Ashley and Josh. I know, at first I wasn't going to talk about Ashley, but we're going to get to Ashley for a second with this Josh situation. So Ashley meets up with Josh to pretty much, break up with him. Really, she meets up with him because she feels like they're in different places. And they are, right? I talked about this last week when Uncle Lump told her, you need to let him go. I agree. Okay? I agree. So he doesn't make as much money as Michael, in my opinion. Therefore, he won't be able to take care of Ashley, her house, and her kids. Because that's something that she highlights. She says that she thinks that because she's already been married, she has kids, he doesn't have those things. She thinks that at some point he will want those. She's not wrong. He is going to want that at some point, right? She says she doesn't know if she wants more kids, right? And if she does, it needs to happen in the next year or two. And I think she said something like, he not going to be ready in a year or two. And he like, how you know that? Why would you say that? Right? And she kind of looks at the ground with a slight grin. And it's like, Ashley, this is how I know you be on your FS, your fuck. This how I know, okay? Just when you look at the ground and you get that slight grin, like she just, ugh. Ashley, I'm just not going to hold y'all. Ashley disgusts me. She just disgusts me. That's the short. The way some of y'all feel about Giselle, I feel about Ashley. Okay? Ashley pisses me off more than Giselle. I know y'all like, how? It's just something about her. And ever since she started this in season 1, trying to blow up Robin and her taxes, but when it comes to her and hers, she wants it to, like, everybody need to cheat. Hell, I can't do Ashley. I cannot do Ashley. Every time I want to like her, she pissed me the hell off. So she mentions the financial elements of everything, right? Basically, Ashley got more money than him. Ashley's doing this show, making more money. Ashley done got money from her ex-husband. So she's more financially well off than him. He says that she doesn't understand or know his finances. That was interesting too, because it's like, you don't know. I think Ashley made an assumption that because he doesn't have lavish things like her, doesn't mean that he not stacking up his money, right? Doesn't mean that he's not investing his money, and once he get to a certain amount, he'll pull it out or whatever. Maybe he could be a millionaire in about 3 years. I don't know what that man got going on. You know what I'm saying? But she's looking at it, and I don't fault her for that, looking at it in this moment of, like, right now. Like, you ain't got what I need right now. I don't know what the future holds in 3 years to be rocking with you. So I'm not going to say she really wrong for that, right? She says they've never taken a trip together. So he mentions Pittsburgh, right? Like, didn't I ask you to come back to Pittsburgh with me? And she was like, yeah, but I'm talking about internationally, right? And I'm like, not all couples' first trip is internationally, right? Some people will take you on a domestic trip, okay? First, to see how you are, to see if y'all should even go out the damn country with each other. Okay? And some people, first trip will be internationally, right? But this is where I fault her too, because it's like, did you have these type of conversations from the beginning? No, she didn't. Ashley never set her boundaries, expectations, none of that from the beginning. Ashley really just got with this man to fuck on him. And then at some point, because she's lonely, continued to use him. And I think he eventually started to catch feelings, right? Ashley says that this relationship isn't the right place for her, right? I don't disagree. Ashley says that she supports a lot of people in her family, and she wants a man that can handle that weight, right? Handle it or take over it if he needs to, right? And again, I agree with that. What I don't really agree with, bitch, is you using this man and then bringing him on this show to embarrass him. That's what I don't like about you, Ashley. Another thing, and we could get into it, bitch, you have no storyline at all. Your storyline literally is to bring people on this show to embarrass their ass. You brought your mama on here last week, okay, to embarrass her about being with a man for 23 years that you know she not finna leave. You done brought this man on this show knowing that he never had what you needed from him to begin with. You already knew that. You already talking about sheets and all this other stuff. You just wanted him for the DICK. Okay? You could have just told that man that shit on the phone. You used him for a piece of a storyline, brought this nigga on the show. And he may have been a willing participant because obviously he showed up only to embarrass him and be like, yeah, it's the finances, babe. You don't have as much as me. Bitch, you knew that when you hopped on his dick. Is you cool? You knew that. And that's what I'm saying. Like, the expectation should have been set up from the front. She should have already told him, like, hey, this just sex. I feel like, dude, tell them like they tell y'all, okay? Men will tell you out the gate that it's just, I'm just trying to, okay? Why you couldn't say that from the beginning? This ain't no relationship. We ain't going steady. Why you just couldn't say that from the beginning? And then now you want to let him down all easy. Like, it's the finances, babe. What it really is, Ashley, your ass done got this money from Michael. And you already know that if you get married, that fucking money gonna stop. And in order for that fucking money to stop, boo, you gonna have to get a nigga that's making more than you or more than fucking Michael. So that once you stop them damn payments, baby, you're gonna still be able to come up off the next nigga. And let me tell you, bitch, I am not mad at you, ho. I can't stand your ass, but bitch, I'm here for the play. Understand, I am here for the play. Go get you a man that got more than you, but your problem for me is entertaining these fucking things that you know you're not finna get no chance to. Like, for what? You wasting your time then. However, at the same time, I feel like, yes, date around, but date around, if you're gonna risk, in my personal, if you're gonna risk your box like that, risk your box with that guy, what you looking for. Okay? So if you were to have slipped up and got pregnant, bitch, you would have gotten pregnant by somebody that's on a Michael level or beyond. But I can't. And let's get back. Let's get back to you bringing motherfuckers on this show and embarrassing them, bitch. Why the fuck you brought your sister on this show to embarrass her? I know that's your sister's daddy, bitch. You did not need to bring your sister to no motherfucking location to buy her some shit to have a conversation. First of all, let me say this. Let me get this out of the way, and I'm gonna have to tag on your sister just a little bit because I'm trying to understand. She couldn't tell me shit negative about a nigga I'm dealing with if your fucking daddy is a drunk. Your goddamn daddy is a drunk and my mama is a slave. I'm a slave for you. Like, it's given I'm a slave for you, ma'am. You can't tell me shit about no man that I'm dealing with. If this is your fucking daddy, understand that. But what I'm not finna do is bring my sibling on a show, probe them about their fucking father, and then have their ass crying. Like, first of all, she's not even a cast member. Why are we leaning so much into her life? This ain't even your fucking daddy either. Yeah, he may have been in your life for a good amount of time, okay, because he was there for 23 years with your mama, so he was there for a little bit of yours. How about you bring your siblings on the show who your daddy put in that obituary and not your ass, and try to get a connection and maybe learn more about them and your daddy, and hope that they don't close the door and lock that bitch behind your ass. So that's just what it is that I'm saying. I said I wasn't going to get to this level, but Ashley definitely makes me do it, so let me just calm down. But I don't like that. I'm like, this is the third person you done brought on this show in my personal to embarrass them because you have nothing else going on. The biggest thing you did have would have been you and Josh. I will give you that. Because that is a relationship that you are actively in, or was in, or half in, or whatever y'all had going on. And I don't think she should have been with him. She should have broke it off. But you should have did that shit a long time ago. You knew he ain't had what you need from the beginning. You knew that. Okay? Especially once that paperwork was finalized and he already told you, like, Michael already said, you probably can get this alimony, you probably can get this coin or get what you gonna get. But when you get married, all of that's gonna stop. Okay? And then he ain't finna let you move no man up in that house with his name on it if it's under the business LLC. Did you get, and see, let's get into that. That's a storyline. Let's talk about how you would get the house transferred out of the business name that's shared with you and Michael to your full ownership. I'll even give you that. But you bring in other folks, so you better not pull that. Let me tell y'all, Bravo. Like up the video for me, please, and thank you guys so kindly. Bravo. If she has to tug and pull at people like this, we have to accept that this woman needs a break. This woman needs a break. if she has to pull her young sister who's supposed to be excited about going off to college to talk about her drunk ass daddy, and she over here being emotional and crying and sad and all that, she can't change that man. Your own mama can't change him. Okay? That girl said, I don't even see myself coming back. Who would? Who would come back to that household? I would never come back. Okay? Bye. However, I'm just saying this woman needs a break. And I just don't think that the people are as loud about her needing a break as they were loud about Robin needing a break. Okay. Yeah. Y'all ain't like Robin, but I feel like Robin had about more of a damn storyline than Miss Ashley. Ashley got divorced and she over here peddling people around, embarrassing their ass. The least we could have saw was how Robin and Juan was gonna act after them allegations came out, and then she had to her spot got blown up on social media with that lady in that hotel room and him saying, "Oh, she ain't had no money, so I used my court." Girl, that was bah. That was giving more than what Ashley giving. Child. I'm just saying. Y'all gonna have to do something about Ashley. Okay? I understand that y'all like her a lot. And let's be very clear, and I don't care. Ashley, baby, you are the DEI hire. That's why they still got you on the show. No different than Kim of Real Housewives of Atlanta. If she would not have really walked off and negotiated her own show, she would still be on there. Okay? Because they love to have a Caucasian woman in the midst of a group of black women, right? At least one. Married to Medicine scared the shit out of Carrie and any other white woman ready to walk on. So I haven't seen one of them come on in a minute. But you are the DEI hire of this show for sure, which is why they hanging on to you so tight in my personal. Okay? But that's just how I feel. Ma'am needs a break. Okay? Let me just give me a second. I just want people to be as loud about Ashley as they was about Robin. That's all. That's all. That's all, girl. That's all. Monique and Giselle. Let's get into it. Excuse me, not off the show permanently. Monique and Giselle, they have this sit down. Monique gets ready to go in to sit down with Giselle, and she says that back in the day, she used to think that Giselle was a hater, miserable, and wanted to pick on people. I slightly disagree with some of that. I feel like as it pertains to you in particular, for you, she just saw through your bullshit that you had going on. That's all that was. Honestly, it was no different than how she kind of moving with Stacey a little bit. Like she just saw through your bullshit. Been there, done that. It's given. I know fake when I see it. Like that's what that was. Okay. Giselle asked, "Where should I start? Drag me, Monique." When she finally comes in and sit down, and I said, "No, you should start with where y'all beef started at. Why would you say drag me, Monique, when the person that said it ain't even here to discuss it?" And if, quite frankly, that particular thing for me didn't have nothing to do with you, right? It did, but when the altercation happened, that ain't got nothing to do with you. That's between them at that particular moment. If it's some resolve that needs to happen. When they got into it the first time when Mo was pregnant, like, girl, no. I think that you should go back to when she first came on the show. That's what y'all need to go talk about, right? So you can start from the beginning of y'all's beef, the beef that y'all got. Okay? That's what you start from. So Monique says that she had to sit back and ask, why was I mad at her? Now, when I first saw the episode and stuff, for me, I felt like Monique was saying, and I still don't know, what I took it as, I thought she was saying, why was I mad at Candace? Like, I had to sit back and think, like, why was I mad at her? Like, why was she mad at Candace? Right? That's what I was thinking about. Because I would think you know exactly why you mad with Giselle, right? Giselle has done a few things, okay? And the biggest thing I felt she did was trying to bring the story that your best friend or ex-best friend Gigi put out there about you messing with your trainer. I don't think Gigi, I don't know, and y'all let me know. I don't recall Gigi adding the I can't remember if Gigi added the portion about the latest baby not being Chris's. I feel like that could have been a Giselle thing to add extra sauce on it, like she did with Stacey when she sat up there and said she's not to be trusted around husbands or children. I feel like she added that piece in, right? So I feel like that's the biggest thing. Like, you should know why was I mad at her? Like, you should know. So you must be talking about why you was mad at Candace. Is that what that was about? But if it is about, like I said, Giselle, then you should know. Anywho, she says that she did a lot of self-reflection and spent too much time being the victim. And she was pretty much mad at everybody else. And she says that she started to peel back the layers and started to confront things, right? She says that this was the one area she hasn't made peace with. I feel like the reason Monique says she hasn't made peace with this area is because she ain't been on a damn show to correct her image. That's why she hasn't made peace with that. She may have made pieces with other folks, talking to them, talking to her mama, talking to her dad, talking to other folks, getting them to see her side, whatever the case is, But when it comes to the show and the viewers of Potomac, because her fans gonna ride with her, period, right? Good, bad, ugly, whatever, they're gonna ride with Monique. But the other people that did not think she operated in the best at that time, those are the people, in my opinion, she still has to win over. Even though Monique may say that, she doesn't care when she does her interviews and stuff, she does. I do believe that is kind of embedded in her over these years, even before Chris, where she wants to be liked, right? So she is going to likely say and do things to not look as bad, basically. Not look as bad, right? And that's the reason, in my opinion, why she's still unsettled in this area, because she hasn't been able to come back and clean her image up with these people, okay? Or with the viewers, right? So let's keep going. What else did she talk about? She tells Giselle that she has a tendency to be in people's relationship. Very true. Very true. And I think it's very unfair for you to do that when you don't bring somebody on this show for people to get into. But after that stunt was pulled, I think when Monique did, was it season 2, 3, when Monique ended up having that conversation with Sherman's ex and stuff like that. And I think eventually Sherman broke up with her because he couldn't take the scrutiny, whatever the case was, when that stunt was pulled. I don't think Giselle has brought anybody else on the show. I feel like she only brought Jamal on the show because, honestly, bringing Jamal on the show wasn't much different as Stacey bringing TJ in the way that people said on the show. I don't think Giselle had to pay Jamal for that. I think that Jamal felt like he may have owed that to her in some capacity. Like, I'll come on the show and we'll act like we're rekindling so I can have a storyline. That's probably why, in my opinion, everything that Monique was saying at the reunion in her book, Giselle was likely unbothered because we all knew that it was a scheme that they both set up, like, to come to us with the BS. Like, that's just what that was. In my opinion. So Monique brings up the trainer comments that Giselle brought to the front. And when she said that, I said, oh, so you do remember. So if this is about Giselle and you were trying to recall why you were mad at her, then that means you do remember, because you damn sure bringing it up. I don't think you ever forgot. I don't think Monique ever forgot what those ladies did to her. Especially as I've watched interviews of Monique over the years since she's left the show. It's always been that other show and this, that, and saying certain stuff and slick stuff about the ladies and da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, girl, nah, if you're still doing that, you ain't forget what they did. You have not forgotten what they did. You may be working through your spiritual journey, your healing, or whatever the case is, but you ain't forget. So anywho, so she said she was always in protective mode of her family. She felt like since people were attacking her situation, she felt like she'll attack hers and come at Jamal, right? But as I said, for me, and I think a lot of people just love that moment, and kudos to y'all, but it didn't really give. I mean, like, she ain't really tell us a whole lot of nothing that her daddy, Giselle daddy, wasn't already saying. When he was on that hot mic dragging the shit out of Jamal, daddy was pissed the hell off she brought him in that restaurant to sit with that man. Daddy was not having it, okay? Not at all. So I'm like, okay. Monique says that she felt bad for Giselle's daughter, that her actions impacted her. Like, I felt so bad. Like, oh my God, I felt so bad. And I don't know how she felt. That's what she said. But I'm like, why are you feeling bad? You ain't do shit to that girl. Now, you may have called out whatever you knew, right? But at the end of the day, I don't feel like it's your responsibility to have certain actions for her child to look up to. That is on Giselle and that girl daddy. And that daddy been a dog since Giselle was with him when they were babies and probably before they were born. Why are you taking on that weight as if... I felt like, honestly, I was like, damn, Monique, you landed on thick right here. Some part of me, I was like, okay, you landed on thick. Like, you feel sorry for the kid. Like, what? You landed on thick. I don't know. And then it's no disrespect. It is. Like, why are you feeling bad when this same girl's mama was literally finna bring a story onto the show about your child not belonging to your husband? She didn't give a fuck about your kids. And when Giselle sees your children, I promise you it's not going to be, I felt so bad. Giselle going to say, hey, like ain't shit happened. I promise you. I promise you that. She going to hee ha ha smile. Hey, okay. That's what she going to do. But she not finna feel bad. Understand that, okay? Yeah, that whole sit down was a little awkward. A bit. It seemed like it kind of gave off, I don't know, it kind of gave off Monique pleading to be in a group or something like that. And it's like, what? I know y'all needed to have a conversation. I mean, she did call her out though, as far as you like to be in people's relationships. You know what I'm saying? But it was something about it. I was just like, girl, you landed on thick. So much you feel sorry for her daughter. Your daughter's so beautiful. She's so this, she's so that. And oh my God, I'm like, oh, please. I'm not saying sorry for none of that. If you ain't sorry about what happened between you and old girl and the friendship crashing down, why you sorry about that? I feel like a little piece of all is fair in war, girl. All is fair. Sorry. You ain't saying nothing about her kids. You said something about they daddy and they mama. They adults. They could get it. Like, what? So, I don't know. Anywho, Giselle felt like real life hate was coming from Monique's side more than her. And Giselle, and I think what Monique said to her, she was like, now, wait a minute now. You're not innocent. And she said, no, I know I'm not. I never said that I was, but I'm just letting you know. You had more hate on your side than I had on mine. Be clear. Child, listen. I feel like this. I don't know. I'm not going to say that it was more hate coming from either side. But what I will say is once Giselle knows that she could fuck with you, she will continue to fuck with you. That's my personal. See, in my opinion, what I think, Giselle's problem is that she plays too damn much, okay? That's Giselle's problem. She plays too damn much, right? And she does SHI for the show. And everybody is not on that type of time with you. That's the thing, right? So, Giselle, she just play too much. Because I feel like, and when she gets cussed the fuck out, like when Wendy and Candace do her, then she want to keep her distance. Then she want to be like, oh my God, they're just, I don't want to have anything to do with her. I don't even want to talk to her. Like, right? That's what she does. But the thing is, Giselle is goofy. Okay? And I'm not saying goofy as in like how people like, you're goofy, like in a bad way. I'm not saying it like that. I'm saying goofy as in plays too much. Right? And she will do things for the show similar to Ashley to get a reaction out of you. That is the same stuff she would do to Karen. Oh, Karen was messing with XYZ man. Oh, me and Robin finna wear these shirts and make fun of your tax issues. Oh, we finna do this and we did. Like Giselle, yes, it's all effed up, but what's also going on is she play too damn much. Okay? And everybody not on that time. And it's always a person that play too much, and then when you cuss them, I tell them, chill your style, sit your down, then now they want to act like you wrong. Like you did something to them. I ain't do shit to you, but get you the fuck up off me. That's what I did. And that's why she's going to continue to come for Stacey until Stacey cusses her out like Candace and Wendy did. Then she probably really going to try to get you off the show. Right? But in all honesty, Giselle can't really get nobody off the show. I mean, because I feel like if that's the case, Wendy and Candace would have been on a long time ago. She can't do that. Right? But she could try to like just not interact or have less interactions with you. But she played too damn much. That's why when she would do stuff to Karen, she would laugh and we would be like, what the hell? Like, why you laugh? Because she played too fucking much. Okay? All for the betterment of the show. To keep the show. And honestly, and to me, and I know y'all may feel like it's different, but I don't think so. I feel like this shit ain't no different than Heavenly a little bit. But some of y'all praised Heavenly for the shit that she do though. Right? I think the difference that y'all would say is that Heavenly ain't putting no allegations out there like Giselle did with Candace's husband, and that I would have to agree, as well as the things she was willing to bring on the show for against Monique. And that I would have to agree. But outside of that, both of them play too much. Right? But you know, I guess it is what it is then. So, but that's just what it is. Like, yeah, she just plays too damn much. She do it to everybody. So Giselle felt like Monique was the one. She felt like when they had the whole barn situation, she felt like Monique was on one and wanted whatever happened. She felt like she wanted that to happen, and Monique was like, "No, I would never want that to happen." Right? I don't know. I don't know. I would have to go back and probably watch the episode. I don't know if she. I don't know. It's hard to say if I think she wanted a somewhat altercation with Candace. Did she want it to come to what it came to? I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know if she wanted to get physical, but I do feel like she wanted that back and forth with her. Right? Because I feel like that season was the season, which is so odd to me, that Monique favored Giselle, befriended the lady that was going to bring the rumor on the show about you. But the person that gave you the heads up about it, you put them in the opposition when, honestly, y'all weren't talking. So she told somebody else to tell you about it. And see, that's where I go into questioning, right? Just a little piece, because I was like, well, how did that person actually run it back and tell her? Because see, at once upon a time, Candace thought that she could trust Karen, remember? And then she realized and learned that she couldn't trust Karen. And then when she snapped on Karen, Karen decided to go to HR on her, right? So it's like she probably came out better shooting her a text. I don't know, but they weren't talking. So she was like, hey, Karen, can you just let her know this? But how did Karen tell it? How did it get back? I don't recall, and I'm sure y'all let us know. But how did it get back to her? How, when you playing telephone with somebody, that middle person cannot relay things accurately back. But at that time, again, she felt like she could trust her. But anyway, let's keep going. So she says the way that she acted was terrible. She takes accountability for that. She says she never wants to experience that again. And who would? Okay. Giselle was like, she was wondering who was in her ear that made her be this crazy. She says, I blame the husband. Well, let me say this. Let me wrap up what Monique said, and I'll tell y'all who I blame. Monique says it was pressure, and she won't put it all on Chris, okay? So I don't know how it was pressure when you've done your interviews, you lean a lot into not being happy at home as to why you lashed out on Candace. But then in front of Giselle, you're now saying that you won't put it all on him now when it comes to that. Right? I personally think that the whole back and forth between her and old girl to begin with, her and Candace to begin with, I think it was unwarranted, and I think Karen influenced that in my personal, and I think Ashley Darby influenced that as well, and possibly whatever team she had around her. And I wouldn't be surprised if Chris also influenced that as well with whatever stress he had going on, right? So that is what I think, because I had to start back thinking about, like, the information got to Monique by way of Karen, because Candace asked her to tell her. So how did she relay that? So I feel like Karen about had a hand in that, just a little piece. Not thinking that it was going to cause a fight, though, but just thinking it was going to be a little bit of discourse. Same thing with Ashley. So there's that. All right. At the end of the conversation, the ladies did agree to talk and to trash each other, but not to pretty much fight each other at the end of the day. Right. And they walk out hugging each other and laughing. That's how the scene ended. Okay. It did give the same way people were saying. Some of y'all were saying when Wendy sat down with Giselle, it seemed like, oh, you just want to be cool with Giselle so bad. You want to be her friend so bad. And Monique came on the show in the same fashion. Sitting down with this lady was given the same thing. The problem is, it's similar to Wendy, right? When Wendy responded to, I believe it was Brooke Ashley, and she said, well, no, we sat down for like 2 hours, like we sat down. It was like a long conversation. I think the same thing happened with she and Monique. I think they were there for a minute. It was a lot to talk about, a lot to get into. And they primarily chopped it up for Monique, because here's the thing. Although people want Giselle to take accountability and stuff and say her piece or whatever it was, and she may have, according to Monique, she did, I feel like they only showed Monique because Monique had the worst exit. Right? She's the one that has to come back into the group. And also, in my personal, as I said before, she wants to make sure she fixes her image, because this was the one place or the one area she felt she haven't healed from or repaired or whatever the case is. And I feel like that's because she hasn't been able to show different on the show. That is why, in my opinion, they showed more of what Monique had to say, trying to show her taking on some accountability or whatnot, than they did with Giselle. Right? Because they are thinking, in my opinion, that the audience is more so looking at what does Monique have to say for her actions versus what Giselle has to say. But I do get how y'all feel. Like, Giselle, you got to own up to this. You got to own up to that. I'm just telling y'all why I think they edited out that portion of what was being said. Okay. So, did anyone see the fight? See, when the fight happened in season 5, that Giselle actually pushed Monique when Monique said she felt the hand of someone pushing her, hitting her. No one ever checked with Monique. That was a big conversation. Actually, I thought that conversation came up before Monique even said that's what happened, because it was so many slow-mos that was going on. Like, when they first was getting into it, she did kind of like it was Giselle that kind of did the push, right? And that's when I don't know, it was weird because Monique's story kept doing a lot of changing. And I don't know if it was because she was blatantly lying about stuff, or if it was because everything happened so fast she couldn't remember a lot. I don't know. But because at one point she was like, I felt the push, so I reacted. Then it was Candace hit me in the face with a glass, I reacted. And it's like, girl, that lady hit you after you grabbed her. And actually, you was already flipping her hair. You was already putting your hands on her, right? So that's kind of like, I don't know. Girl, I don't know. Now, if Candace would have called the cops and said, she's touching me. She's touching me. She's flipping my hair. They would have been like, assault. You know what I'm saying? But all in all, I'm glad that we are past that moment. It is what it is. Should Candace and Monique decide to reconcile, it's totally up to them. I don't see them doing that right now. Monique doesn't seem to be in that place. Candace seems to be in that place and not in that place all at the same time, and yeah, I guess it's just what it is, And now, since Monique is back on the show and she has said that she's changed, you just got to give her time to show y'all that she's changed. Now, at how reality TV does work, in my personal, there are going to be some fans that she's going to keep. And over time, she's not going to have some, because they're not going to favor her in editing if she's on this show long enough. It's going to be some SHI. So, I mean, it is what it is, child. Yeah, Monique just wanted to get that off, child. I don't understand the backpedaling. I wish she was healed for real. She wouldn't be out here spilling her and Chris's tea and saying her and Candace were never friends. Now, see, this is what I was thinking, girl. When I heard it, because I watched the Watch What Happens Live before I watched the episode when I dropped that video yesterday. So I was thinking that she was saying that there was no friendship because they haven't been friends in the past few years since the incident. I ain't even think about the fact that she was talking about there was no friendship at all. Y'all sure that's what she was saying? Because if she was saying that, now we know that's a lie. Because was she calling her like her little sister and stuff at some point? Like they were really close. Like, I mean, yeah, like y'all, like you felt extremely quote unquote betrayed by her for whatever reason. I guess because she sat there as they were talking about you, but she also tried to inform you. So I don't know, but yeah, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, y'all. I thought she was just saying, "Oh, we not friends. We haven't been friends in the past few years." So like, it ain't no friendship because it wasn't one of these past few years. That's what I thought she was talking about. But I mean, I don't know. Let me smack my lips a little bit more for you, Trisha Miller girl. Okay, y'all be killing me. Not people have natural things that they do, and you get offended by it. Girl, I'm not over there watching you. Okay. I'm not over there telling you take that bonnet off your head, girl. I ain't doing that. Or take that outfit off because it don't fit you right. Now, did I do that? I ain't even had to do that. I ain't tell you to lotion your hands because they looking like you in your 80s. Your hands is giving 80s and your face giving 40s. Like, I ain't do nothing like that. I love you. But don't do me, girl, you know. I'm not trying to smack. That's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? Goodness. No, why she didn't even have to eat me up like that today? Now, why you did me like that? Girl, anyway, it's no hard feelings. You can stay. Ain't nobody finna block you. We still love you. It's just like, dang. Okay, let me watch my smacking then. Okay, so anyway. All good. What else do I want to get into? Because we get into Greg. Greg, Mama K, and Angel. Y'all, why is Greg? Why is Greg wasting? Why is he playing in these people's face? Why is he wasting these people's time? I feel like Greg did not like seeing Kay getting dragged at Giselle's party. And because she didn't like seeing seeing Kay getting dragged at a party, now he wants to entertain the idea. Or, I got another one. Production could have just put that in there. This could have been something that was filmed well before Giselle's thing, and they just decided to put that in there so that it could look like, well, hey, I mean, at least they're trying to do a little something. He thinking about proposing to her. The lady brings out a ring that's over $1 million. I believe it was. Not the ring probably costing more than the house. That's crazy. That's probably why Greg was like, which one you want? But honestly, I think Greg was doing that because he's not really trying to go down that lane with her. Did anybody see Greg standing next to Mama K? Why Greg and Mama K look like they could be together versus Greg and Kay? Why he look better with your mama than with you? And Mama K is fine. That's a fine. Girl, the jeans is, oh yes. Yes, ma'am. Mama is beautiful. But baby, he wouldn't be able to handle her. He would not be able to handle Mama K. Because Mama K won't be put up with none of that. You hear me? And I'm wondering how old is Greg? Is he closer in the age of her mama? Or what? Anywho, he over there looking at a ring that cost all this money. I said, baby, Greg is not buying that. Especially if he's supposed to be over here getting this condo. He not getting that. And I don't think that he should, in all honesty. I don't think that you should have that big of a ring. Like, it's just, if you want to get a $20,000 ring, cool. If you want to get a $2,000 ring, come on. Like, I just don't think it got to be that expensive to me. Because why would I have a partner spend that much on a ring when they could put more? If you got that much, let's go put some of that in investments. Okay? That's what's gonna matter. That's crazy. But anywho, when it came down to it, y'all, Greg was moonwalking the hell out of it because he was trying to talk himself out of buying that ring right there. I want to get her opinion on. I want her to see it. Da-da-da. Mom was like, oh, she gonna like it either way it go. Okay? She gonna like it either way it go. I said, y'all, the same way Greg is finessing them and talking himself out of buying this ring is the same SHI that he does when he's talking to Kay. Simple as that. Okay? Anywho, oh yeah, brother is handsome too. They have a beautiful family. They have a beautiful family. I have to say, beautiful family. Excuse me. Happy Eddie. So Stacey tells Wendy, and this was crazy to me because Stacey tells Wendy that it might be a conflict of interest to have her at her event on site. Of course, Wendy isn't bothered by not being invited. She could care less. But I'm confused because I'm like, why would there be a conflict of interest? Not because you guys are both selling weed or something of that capacity. So I'm like, are you using her vendors, her husband's vendors or something like that for it to be a conflict of interest? Are his vendors competing with yours? Like something about it was a little off. I don't know what that is. I need to know what is the real tea behind Shire and how much ownership do you really have in this company? I don't know. It's kind of giving a collab, right? It's like a collab type of thing. And it's so much of a collab that I feel like it ain't even gonna be around in the next 2 years for some reason. Like it's something that's odd about it. I'm not gonna hold you, Stacey girl. It's just something that's odd. Okay. And then production, y'all was wrong for showing us Wendy trying to remember her passcode because she typically uses credit. Wendy, I find that hard to believe, my love. Just a little piece, and some of y'all can relate. But I just feel like you still gonna remember that passcode unless it's a code that the bank gave you and you just went with the code that they gave you. Now, if you put your own code in there, then I would think that you would at least remember your code. You can't be using credit that much, right? I don't know, but I was like, y'all was messy as hell for putting that in the scene in the shot. But anyway, let's get to the Shire event, right? Let's get to the Shire event. I believe they good. The gummies are good. I believe they good. They look good. They look like they good. I just don't know how much of an owner she is in that company. I just have questions. I'm hollering. Somebody said I don't know mine because I shop online. I'm screaming. Okay, so y'all can relate. So quite a few. No, it's not Shayo. I could have sworn that Tia said Shire. Remember at the thing? Then I thought Tia said because I had to rewind it. And she was like Shire. So it's Shayo? Well, hell, Stacey said she was valuable too, didn't she? I'm hollering. So it's Shayo. So I've been saying it right the first time. So I'm gonna blame Stacey. Blame Stacey. Because Stacey came in with her British Nigerian and she messed it up. Because she had me saying Shayo. And it's Shayo. Oh. My bad. Okay. Oh. I know that's right. I'm a Yoruba, not Stacey. I'm screaming. No, I blame Tia. Did I say Stacey? I mean Tia. I'm blaming Tia because Tia came in there. She told me some Shayo. It's Shayo. I'm not listening to. You know what? I feel like Tia gonna be in the same spot as Stacey next year. But anywho, let's keep going. All right. So we're at the Shayo event. And Stacey has this partnership with the company that she says has businesses all over the U.S. So she believes that she has no choice but to be successful with this brand. Okay. We'll see. We shall see. Hopefully she is. Don't wish bad on Stacey. Hopefully she is. I'm just confused about the conflict of interest, okay? Um, Thank you for the super chat, Tiffany. What did you say, honey? Why your voice goes so high? Blessings, girl. I just like to be animated at times because I'm like an animated person. It's just something that I've done since like forever, for real. For real. Like I've always been like this. Thank you for the super chat, Mr. Lee Carter. Stacey says something about making history as the first woman to own in DC, so she gotta be pretty involved, right? IDK, but I'ma stick beside her. I'm hollering. You know what? When Stacey first told us that, I was like, can't be. I didn't believe it. When she first said it, I was like, what, girl? Not the first one in history. It's too many of these companies around for you to be the first one up there in DC, girl. Maybe she's talking about in her county or something. I don't know. Let's keep going, though. So Stacey invited everybody, but only Jazzy, Tia, and Ashley showed up. Stacey says Wendy couldn't be here, but she's been very supportive. Now, girl, you told that lady she couldn't come. Timo not there because, I'm sorry, Timo. Timo not there because he over there traveling. Ashley shows up with the same wig as Stacey. Okay, highlights and all. She talks about the dress or whatnot that Stacey had on that she wore before. And she's like, you trying to be like me? And then Stacey said, who's your inspiration? And then Ashley said, not you. Yeah, I ain't even going. Let's keep going. I ain't got time. Let's keep going. Ashley says Monique's choosing. No, so that Stacey said, let me pull you to the side. I want to talk about moving forward. So with them talking about moving forward, it leads to Ashley calling Stacey a lying as hoe. Out of nowhere. Right? Stacey tells Ashley, listen, everything that you've come to the front to me on, I've pretty much proven you wrong. Right? Monique is letting the issue go, is what Ashley says. So I'm going to let it go. And I'm like, Ashley, it's not even your issue for you to hold on to, love. It's not your issue for you to hold on to, love. It's not. So Ashley tells Stacey, if you stop giving me stuff, then I'll stop coming for you. And I'm like, what is she giving you, though? Somebody else gave you information about her and TJ. You trying to force that down her throat like she lying because you couldn't find her divorce records online. Right? Then it's given he say, she say with the whole Kiana, Cookie, and Chris thing, but you don't want to believe that somebody else could have did it. Like, I mean, it's just, yeah, y'all too old. So afterwards, Ashley tells Stacey after they got into it, right? And they yelling back and forth and stop hazing and no more this and no more that and no more lying and stop lying and all this other stuff. First of all, Ashley would have got out. Ashley would have got kicked out my event. Ashley would have had to go. Sayonara. Pack her up. Get her out of here. Want nothing else to do with her. Let her go. But no, you keep Ashley in there. Now, afterwards, Ashley tells Stacey that she's been authentic as much as she possibly can on this show, talking about herself. She says that in this group, we hold each other accountable, and it actually helps us to get closer as a group, right? And I'm like, but how can she be closer with y'all if you learned that things didn't happen how they happened, if you learned that one of the people don't give a damn about what happened, and y'all still trying to force it? It kind of reminds me of Salt Lake City a little bit with what the people did with Lisa. Now, granted, it does give Lisa's MO to do something like that, right? But y'all trying to force Lisa to admit it? That I just think, wouldn't nobody want that. You trying to force, it's something about that. It was giving similar teas to me. So Stacey says she's learning that, but she says, but she wants them to get a better understanding of each other, right? That's what she's saying. So Stacey talks with Tia, and this is where I don't think that I'm gonna be all the way team Stacey. I don't even think I could be all the way team Tia. Really? With this particular situation. Stacey talks with Tia about the dinner date, about Timo, right? She said he was flying out and Stacey agreed, right? No, I think and Tia agreed or whatever. So Stacey says that she introduced Tia to her husband because Tia felt like she felt like Tia was neutral, right? And I was being picky about words a little bit because I was like, neutral. I said, Stacey, baby, you know you being recorded, right? You said she felt more trustworthy, I thought. You know you're being more, or you said that she felt more safe. And maybe that is what Stacey meant by neutral, right? Because she felt no way. She wasn't here for the TJ situation of it all or none of that. Like, she's coming into the group like green in a sense, I guess. So that's why she said that. Now, Stacey tells Tia that at the dinner when Wendy called her, she says that she told Wendy that Timo was out of town and she never was supposed to be there to begin with. Then she says Tia says that she was full of SHI, and that's not true, right? She said Tia was like, no, she's full of shit. That's not true. I just saw her. That's not really what Tia said. That's not what Tia had said, okay? Now I kind of went back to that whole scene between Stacey, Timo, and Tia, right? And then the sit down between Tia and Wendy. Now, when Stacey invited Tia to meet her husband, Timo did meet Timo. Timo said that he will be out of town, so he couldn't do the dinner. And Stacey did lean into that lie. And she added that he would probably be gone for a few weeks or 2 weeks, or he won't be in until next week or whatever it was. So Stacey did, like, Timo lied to Tia, but Stacey did lean into that and go along with the lie. Now, Stacey told Tia there was a history with these ladies. This is all by the pool. There's a history with these ladies, and that's when Timo nodded. He nodded his head in agreement, which is why Stacey said she was only letting Tia meet him because she's new to the group, right? And they pretty much have no history. Now, after Timo eventually walked off, Tia was already saying, she already got the vibe, or she already read his vibe right off the gate. She was like, ooh, she was like, Timo is not feeling us ladies or something like that. Or she was like, oh, Timo wants to have nothing to do with us. Like, she already kind of knew what it was, right? So that's why I kind of feel like I fought Stacey for some of the stuff that, like, for her not recalling how everything played out. And also not just saying that my husband don't want to be around y'all. But then also at the same time, it's like, Tia, you knew he didn't want to, even if he didn't have a flight to catch, you knew he didn't want to be around you because you said it out your mouth before Stacey did. Right? So that's when Stacey told her, she said, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. She said, he's not ready to meet the other ladies based on everything that happened. That's true. Right? I feel like Stacey brought, at first I was like, why would you bring Tia around? Why? Is it because she's prim and proper to impress upon your husband? These are the type of ladies that I hang with. Is that what you were doing? And I feel like part of that is true, but also to show him that the girls aren't as bad, because he was still upset about what happened at the reunion, because he nodded his head about it. Because obviously, Stacey, you went home to your man and you was talking SHI. You felt the way about how they made you feel at the reunion. And yeah, primarily Eddie and Wendy, because Eddie was on the FaceTime call with TJ. He gave the information to Wendy. Wendy exposed it as well as Eddie. So, of course, her husband felt the way about that, or ex, whatever he is. They felt the way about that, right? My issue with Stacey, though, is now that you've gotten a better relationship with Wendy, the least you could do is make sure your husband is aware about that. And I think that's where it doesn't look good. You're trying to be close to Wendy, be up under Wendy, but you don't want to be honest with Wendy and tell her that your husband don't really like her like that after what happened. Like, why are you not letting her know that? Like, what's hard with telling her that? She'll tell you if Eddie is upset with something. So why you just won't tell her that? And why won't you tell him we're in a better place now? I want you to meet her. But you know what? Timo gives me, for the people that watch Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Timo gives me Todd of Real Housewives Salt Lake City, Bronwyn's husband, how he wants to have nothing to do with Lisa Barlow and definitely nothing to do with the rest of the ladies. That's what Timo gives me. That's how he feels about Wendy. Wendy is the Lisa Barlow in his eyes, and the rest of the ladies. And then I have to go back and I have to ask, Timo, why would you be so upset to know that TJ is telling people that Stacey paid him? I would think you're more upset with TJ versus anybody else. Or was that was it a scheme that y'all both set up to come to us? Like, I don't know. I just don't think it's something he should be that upset about. I can't tell him what to be mad about, right? But I just feel like it's not like, is it that big of, like, you really that mad? That she probably did pay somebody else to come on the show because you weren't trying to be on the show, and you really ain't even trying to be on the damn show now, for real, and you using the situation with Wendy and Eddie as the excuse as to why you're not trying to meet the other ladies. But also, Tia, what you did not clock at the table with Wendy when y'all did have that sit down, right? You did not tell Wendy, because you wanted to make sure Wendy knew that Stacey felt more safer with you, okay? You wanted to make sure Wendy knew that. And that is what you said, Stacey, and that's what you got to acknowledge that. You got to acknowledge that, and you're not keeping it a buck with Wendy about how your husband feels about her and how you don't feel safe because of what happened. And it also makes me question a little bit of the dynamic with you and Timo. And with the dynamic of you and Timo, it makes me question, are you not bringing Wendy and the other ladies around because they may see through some BS or something like that? I don't know. Something, it just doesn't make sense. But Tia, what you also did not, it was something else that was said at the, when they were out there. Oh, yes. Tia, what you did not also acknowledge to Wendy, at least we didn't see it, was that y'all can stop asking her to bring her man to different events, because she said until Giselle brings hers, she won't be bringing her man. Okay? So there's that. However, yeah, that's that. Let's keep going. Let's get back to present day scene, okay? So Stacey says if she declined the dinner, then she just declined, which is true. Like, whether my man had to go out of town today, tomorrow, I lied. Girl, like, I ain't coming. That's the short answer. So whatever it is what it is, and think what the hell you want to think about it. Now, the issue with, she goes on to say, my issue or my comfort level issue with Eddie and Wendy is none of your business. First of all, Stacey, baby, you told her the business. How you gonna tell that lady it's none of her business, but you the one that told it to her? That's what you said. Okay? Anywho, Stacey says her attempt to get in the group, she likes to overstep talking about Tia. So Tia tries to tell her why she's upset with her, and Tia she said, I already heard things about you. I gave you the benefit of the doubt, and how I wanted, she said, I wanted to have your back or whatever. Matter of fact, you hit me up and told me that I should have your back. That's when Stacey cuts her off and then says, I didn't tell you that. And Tia was like, if you could just stop trying to hijack this conversation and shut up, then I could keep going, because I wasn't talking when you were talking. And Stacey's like, oh, you don't get to tell me to shut up. Stacey says Tia likes to play prim and proper. Tia said, baby, I don't have to play. I said, okay, I don't have to play Detroit like you. All right. Stacey tells her she's a trying hard to fit in the group. That was a good one. And then Tia hit her back with that fire and says, you've been here for a year and still not fitting in. Woo, girl, that was a kiki to me. So here go Jazzy, y'all. Jazzy tells Tia she can't be swearing at her event. That's not Juneteenth. That's not Juneteenth vibes. Jazzy, sit back and hush your mouth. Sit back and hush. Because where were you at? Where was your voice when the whitest woman on the cast, the DEI hire, Ashley Darby, came out there and told that lady, okay, to not be a lying asshole? Girl, that's two cuss words. She was swearing twice. Okay, because I think that when Tia said this to Stacey, she said, "You been here for a year and still not fucking fitting in," or something like that. So, Jassy, be quiet. All right. So Stacey says Tia is a try hard, just like her fashions. Get your ass up and get up. Whoa. Not get your ass up and get out. I'm on the floor. Okay. Um Too funny. So Tia leaves and says that she won't be buying anything. She walks out. I think she said Stacey was trash, so she not buying nothing. And I'm sorry, Stacey, I couldn't respect it. I couldn't respect it. First of all, a few things. You was trying to impress your homeboy that told you that you need to really let the girls have it. The problem is you let the wrong girl have it, right? You let Ashley stand there in your face in front of customers and call you a line as BIT, but all Tia did was tell you to shut up and she had to go. Baby, that was given a slight bit of deflection and very performative. Yeah, I didn't like that. I ain't like that. I ain't like that. I was like, nah, that's just not cool. Like, what? Why you ain't kicked Ashley out? Ashley was the most deserving. Ashley has been on your head from episode 1, and you still let her stay, but you kicked Tia out. So during the after show, Tia pretty much said, because it wasn't a whole lot with the after show, but Tia pretty much said that she felt like Stacey was waiting for that moment to do just that, right? She says that Stacey had called her. This is what Tia's saying. Stacey called her to apologize to her for whatever it was, and then invited her out to her event. The lady went, and then you showed out, and then you kicked her out. Yeah, that's crazy. That's not nice. That's not. I mean, it's very much so Giselle esque. Very much so Giselle esque. Very much so Kenya Moore esque. Okay. Very much so reality TV. But child, it would have been an even better scene if you would have kicked Ashley Darby's ass to the curb for real. Okay. But child, there's that. That's pretty much how the episode ended. Stacey trying to show out in front of her friend. And it's like, Stacey, you ain't have to show out in front. At least that's how I felt. I'm like, Stacey, you ain't have to show out in front of that man. Okay? Because you was already handling them ladies at Giselle's event. You know? But it doesn't look good, ma'am. Like, you know that you got some stuff. You know that your husband feels away. I just don't think it's an issue for you to tell Wendy that. Like, why? I'm just so confused by that. Like, you're gonna have to explain that to the reunion. Does it make us, or let me speak for myself, does it make me dislike you? No. No, not in this moment, it doesn't. I still like you. But some of the stuff does not make sense. Are you as bad of a person as Ashley, Giselle, and Kiana has tried to make you out to be? No, not at all. Especially with Giselle and Ashley, because they got their SHI too. So, yeah, it's crazy. I see Stacey for the try hard she really is. Stacey be like, but I hope they continue to refuse to film with her. You hope they continue to refuse with Stacey? We'll see, because I think Wendy will continue to film with her. But you know what? I also want to say this too. I feel like, who we got on this show? We have, let me put this girl. Who all on this show, child? Hold on. Okay. Let's see who all on the show. So we have Tia. We have Kiana, we have Ashley, we have Giselle, we have Wendy, and we have Stacey and Angel. Now we also have Monique Samuels, and we also have Karen Huger. So that's 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Somebody gotta go. I don't know who. But somebody gonna have to go. Who y'all think need to be the one to go? Somebody or bodies have to, in my opinion, I feel like that's a lot of ladies. 2, 4, 6, 7 already on the show with 2 friends of. I mean, maybe they could bring everybody back, but then bringing Karen back too. Y'all think Karen gonna try to renegotiate her contract to get more money after all of this that just happened? You know, she might be a hot commodity. You know, getting out of prison, people want to see how she navigates that with the group. A lot of the fans, she's a fan favorite. You know, so I feel like if Karen comes back, somebody may have to fall off. I feel like because so many people are liking Stacey and the energy she's giving, I don't see Stacey leaving. And was Stacey Karen's friend that she brought on the show? Right? Was that Karen's friend? I'm not sure, but yeah. I don't know. The question is Monique gonna move up to a housewife or is she gonna stay as a friend of? She might like the friend of role where she don't have to give up a lot of her life or what's happening in her life and she could just still make decent money. Kind of like Cynthia Bailey, make decent money but not have to be so obligated at the same time. She might be okay with staying friend of. Are they going to try and punish Karen and keep her as a friend of or what? Or are they going to swap somebody out? I kind of can see Angel not coming back. I could see Angel, I could see them keeping the cast, keeping Monique as friend of, and sending Angel on her way and moving Karen back into the Karen spot. Mm-mm. But those are my thoughts. Leave yours down below.